Hello, this is James Graham with much more good news. And the good news today is family. Not only family present, but family past. To put this into a frame of reference, L. Frank Baum was the author of a wonderful book that came out in 1900 called The Wonderful World of Oz, which was eventually made into a major motion picture by MGM Studios, in which Judy Garland, the actress, played the primary character of Dorothy. And towards the end of the movie, after they had been through all of their adventures in Oz, Glinda, the Good Witch of the North, asked Dorothy, "What is it that you've learned in your adventures over the rainbow?" And Dorothy thought about it and she said, "If I ever go looking for my heart's desire again, I won't look any further than my own backyard, because if it isn't there, I never really lost it to begin with." And the backyard, of course, refers to her family, to Emma, and all of the characters in her family that she gets reunited with when she wakes up. Speaking of family past, this is my Granny Z. This is in 1923, so this is 100 years ago when she was 26 years old, a single woman. And when I was growing up, I thought of my Granny Z as this little white-haired old lady, 5 foot nothing, only wore dresses, never wore pants, put excessive amounts of salt on all her food, including her toast, and always had a kerchief pinned to her dress, and always smelled of rose water. Those were my early impressions of my Granny Z. I learned later, when I got older, that she was a daughter of the American Revolution, that she marched in protest votes to secure voting rights for women in the United States, and that as a single woman, she traveled to Japan in the 1920s to go and work for the YWCA and take up a leadership position. She was a deeply intelligent, passionate woman committed to equity and justice, and she's a big part of who I am. So the opportunity is for us to get a better idea, get a better understanding of our identity by getting in touch or researching our ancestors and finding out their experiences, what they overcame, what they learned, what they did, where they traveled, all the things that have shaped who we are and who we may yet become. There are tremendous family resources out there in terms of family history, and genealogy, one of them. And just as a note on that, genealogy and family history is apparently the second most popular use of the internet, right behind gardening. And that's a separate podcast episode all by itself, why gardening is such good news. And we need to ask ourselves, why has family history and genealogy become so important? It's because people are looking for a sense of who they are. And when we have that identity, it helps us to fulfill the measure of our creation and experience the much more good news that we can share with the world about who we are and what we can do. FamilySearch.org is one of those resources. It's an aggregation, the largest aggregation apparently in the world, of databases of genealogical information, births, deaths, marriages, baptisms, travel documentation, census records. It's all there. So if you want to find out more about who you are and become more fulfilled in your identity, search out your family from the past, and they will inform you a great deal as to who you are, because we could all use the good news of family.